going over the NHL slate for today. Um, you're looking right now at the True DFS sheets, which are usually only available for premium subscribers, which we're going to share today. Um, the other thing I'm doing is I'm also doing a little bit of testing with the way this shows up. So I'm going to go see if this is actually streaming, which it is. That's good news. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to see if the chat box opens. So there is the chat right there. Okay. All right. So we're looking at the sheet for today, and what we're going to try to do is, again, kind of like hand build a lineup given the projections. And now this is early, but people always ask me for my process of how I go about doing things, and this is literally what I do. And sometimes you'll see that building lineups by hand is pretty easy, given the projections, and sometimes it's not as easy. Sometimes you do need the help of, say, SaberSim to kind of make this work. The other thing that one second. Yeah, it does work. The other thing is that I forgot what the other thing was. Yeah, so sometimes you could handle pretty easily, but other times it just you kind of need SaberSim to make this all work. Like, for example, like let's take a look at the sheets for today. Like you look at the top of this and you see, with the exception of the goalie, like that it's really dominated by Winnipeg and Edmonton, right? You have 3 of the top 5 values are out of Edmonton, and then you have 1, 2, 3 Winnipegs and the Winnipeg goalie, not to mention. So these are probably the 2 stacks that you're probably going to want to get to. The other thing that I like to look at is where kind of random one-offs are and see if they're really not that random. So like Adrian Kempe is 5,700, and he's rated really, really high up on my list. But then you go down a little bit, and Fiala is also rated high as well. Now, although they're not on the same even strength line, they are on the same power play line. So it's possible that they could become at least kind of a 2-man stack, or maybe if you can find someone else, like Velarde maybe is part of the power play. That could be kind of a cheap secondary stack to use as well. So that's the other thing. The other thing I'll notice is that Anastasio from Chicago rates really high over here. So he could either be kind of a really good one-off if you need it, or you'll notice that Kurashev and Tyler Johnson, also from Chicago, are rated kind of high. And although, again, they're not all on the top even strength line, they are on the power play line together. So you could think that Anastasio, Kurashev, and Tyler Johnson, that could be a good kind of a 3-man to kind of make your lineups work. So going back to these others, so Winnipeg, Niederreiter, Kyle Connor, Scheffler. These are all on the first even strength line and the first power play line. So this is kind of double correlated, and that's extremely strong. And then you even go down here a little bit if you want to just really kind of open it up. You play Blake Wheeler's on the second line, but he's also on the first power play line. So you could do a full, not to mention Josh Morrissey. He's on as a defenseman, which is always good to get into your stacks. He is on the first power play line and the first even strength line as well. So you would think that it would be pretty easy to build here. You know, we probably start with, say, that 4 or 5-man Winnipeg, or start with the 3 Edmontons, knowing that you have the Kings and Chicago to kind of make it work. And before we build, again, I just wanted to see if I'm missing anything. I do see a couple of Nashvilles here, both on the top power play line, very cheap. So that's something you might want to keep in the back of your mind. And then also you have, I guess, a couple of Ottawas over here. So you have Kachuk, Brinkat, and Batherson on the first power play line as well. So these are the types of things we're trying to get in. So let's see if we can't just go ahead and do that. So let's just start with the Winnipeg line and just see how easy it is to build, if it's easy at all. So who do we say? Sheffley. And if I pronounce these right, I apologize. And we're trying to go for the full Monty here. We're trying to use all the Wheeler, Connor, Niederreiter, and then we'll play Morrissey over here. Now, before we even do anything else, I want to put a goalie in. And the way I like to do it is it's nice that your top-rated goalie is also under 8K. So let's go ahead and put him in, Ettinger. And you put him in, and this looks like it kind of builds itself, right? You only have 4,300. You have a full 4,300 per man left. And as you recall, we identified some cheapos out of both Chicago and LA to make this work. So in this particular slate, it's a pretty easy hand-built type of slate. Now, just to see, let's go ahead and build with the Edmontons and see how difficult it is to do that. So we're playing. Let's go back to the sheets and let's just make sure that we're going to get the right people. Bouchard, David, and Hyman, and Draisaitl. So obviously it's going to be harder because these guys are all expensive, but so there's a way to start. We'll play Bouchard with all three of these guys. And the problem is now you only have $33.50 a man. And that's really tough, man. That's really tough to do. I mean, if you go back into you could do it. You go back into, and there's two ways to handle that. When you have that little per man, you can either fill it up with one-offs, or you could try to play a cheapo from the same team, even if it doesn't necessarily, either correlate or rate really well. But I think we can actually get away with this because remember, we have Niederreiter and Anesthesia who looked to be pretty good values anyway, and even you have Olofsson from the same game at 4,400. So you could probably do all this. It's hard to find a good center. Yeah, look at Kurashev at 3,200. Actually, we don't need the center here. So just for example, if you put in Anastasia here at 3,500, it's not easy. We are going to probably have to do some serious punting at defense. But let's just see. We're not going to actually put this in anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anastasia 3,500. Who's the other real cheapo? You could play this one-off, this Evangelista at 2,600 if you want, but this Kurashev at 3,200. This works. So Kurashev here, and now at 3,350. You can actually do this. So you could play a four-man Edmonton and get it in pretty easily with some of these aforementioned one-offs. So what's cool about hockey, it's kind of like baseball. It's like whenever you put in your baseball lineups, you're like so sure you're going to win. And it's the same thing kind of with hockey, because you can make them look so pretty. This one, it's not going to look that pretty, but at least get the four main Edmontons in, and then you can, play pretty well projected plays here. And as you'll see, you even get two from Chicago, which certainly couldn't hurt. Okay, next thing I want to do, I want to poke back in on this thing. So this is, I'm sorry, hopefully we'll be here in 10 minutes. The race will go off. So what I did is I had Mike Sowers on yesterday or a couple of days ago, and what he did was he was one of the OG poker studs back in the day. He made a lot of money in DFS, and this is his new project, this Virtual Horseracing game, which is run on the blockchain using Ethereum and all that stuff. And he walked me through, took like an hour with me on how to get set up. And I actually have my first horse in here, and he's racing. Actually it's a she, right? Racing in 10 minutes and 8 seconds. So if we're still around, we'll get to sweat that. But let's go to you want to go to SaberSim now? Look, we proved that we could play the Edmontons pretty easily. We could play the Winnipeg's really easily. So it looks like a pretty straightforward type of slate. But let's see what we do with SaberSim. Okay, so again, what I do is we'll fire it up. Now you can access this actually from TrueDFS as well. But I'm just kind of doing it from offsite. And I'm going to upload our custom projections to replace SaberSims. Oops. Maybe I never did it. Hold on, let's see. I thought that I had uploaded them. Are the wrong slate somehow? Oh, because I'm trying to do it in the NBA. See, where are you? Where are my people? Why are you not informing me that I'm an idiot? All right. I was wondering why it was not matching. All right, there you go. We'll hide unlisted players. This guy we have projected, and they think he's out, so we'll exclude him. And let's just build. We'll build 50 lineups. We'll use the 20 max settings. And just to see what the 20 max settings look like, that provides kind of a level of correlation of about 3, which I actually prefer a little bit higher. So just for funsies, we're going to put it up to 4. And then ownership fade, well, let's try to make it a little lower owned. So we'll move it up to 5. And sim diversity, which is basically randomness, I kind of want to rely on our projections a little bit more. So let's reduce it from 10 to 8. Okay. But we're still going to build 50 lineups. And let's just see what the kind of skeleton build looks like. And what it looks like is, not surprisingly, a whole heaping pile, whoa, of buffalo. How do you like them apples? Wow, wow, wow. That is not what I expected. So let's just take a look. And the other thing I want to do, I want to make sure that these are all in good stacks. When I look at the actual projection, this is like really funny because they were actually based on my projections. I mean, I guess you do see Olafson up over here rating to be a good play. Tage Thompson, good enough, but it's surprising to me that SaberSim is pumping up so much Buffalo there. Let's take a look at the stack types. Even still, the stack types are very pure. You know, sometimes SaberSim will be a little bit testy, and it will, put up some like 3-2s and all this stuff. But of the 50 lineups, I would say 23, 30, like 60% of them are kind of pure. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and just get rid of the stacks like the 2-2-2s, 3-0s, the 4-0s. It's just way too hard to get those one-offs right. 3-2, get rid of that. And I'll tell you this, if you're like a beginner and you're just learning hockey, I would even go more than this. I would really only play, like, I wouldn't even go any 3-2-2s, honestly. And not even 5-0s, because 5-0s, again, that's just a whole bunch of one-offs. But that was actually the lineup that we just kind of looked at, was basically a 5-0. And here's one thing I really kind of struggle with. Hold on, make sure my horse is not racing yet. Oh, still got 5 minutes. I hope it goes off. It's only 4 horses in the field. SaberSim pumps out quite a bunch of these 4-2s. And if you take a look at them, this is like 4 Buffaloes, and then it looks like 2 Nashvilles, and then 2 one-offs. It's hard. It seems hard to get there playing that way. 4, and then here we have 2, and then again 2 one-offs. So this is kind of like my own intellectual struggle with SaberSim, is its constant desire to get me into these 4-2s. So for now, let's say I'm just like not in the mood. Okay? I'm not in the mood to argue, but you know what? I have the X button at my disposal. So we'll get rid of all the 4-2-2s. I would rather actually play the 5-man stacks with 3 one-offs than like 4-2-2 with 2 one-offs, if that makes any sense. I gotta get that. Hello. Hey, how are you? I am.
That's so cool.
Right back.
We'll do it.
Sorry about that. And the only person I would hang up with you is my parents and my wife actually. But actually, my wife I'd probably tell to wait, but I don't want to say anything. Anyway, so we're culling these down, right? These 3 threes and stuff like that. So let's just get rid of this one too. And now let's see what it looks like now. Let's get rid of these 4 2 zeros. They're really bothering me. All right, so now we have something. Now let's see what the stack types look like given this. Let's go back to here. Let's make sure that we have 2 minutes left. We'll get back to that in a minute. And we'll look at team stacks. Yeah, like 50% Buffalo and very little of the Winnipeg, actually 20%. This is very surprising to me. But the point of it is this is why I use Saberson in addition to my hand builds. Okay, because sometimes like it sees combinations and upside that I just can't see. You know, so what I'll do now is I will. The chance these are my actual lineups are somewhere between 0 and 0, but just so I have something. Like let's just say something happens, at least I have something that's in there that's decent. So we're gonna replace those here, and then we're gonna go back to the virtual horse racing. But so in any case, you're probably going with Buffalo, Edmonton, Winnipeg. Didn't get as much of the Chicago's in there, but we'll see about that. All right, so let's put these entries in. So we have something, and now we will go back to the photo finish horse racing. Let's see. So it's starting in 6 minutes, or was this canceled? This one. All right, entries close in 31 seconds. When does this race actually go off here? Let's find out. Open for entry. So it's going to be closed. I wonder if it's going to let me race with only 4 horses. We're going to find out in 10 seconds. Oh, the race is until 3:19 p.m. Oh, shoot. Okay, so I misspoke. All right, so betting closes. So is this in? Are we in here? All right, so you can bet on this for another 59 minutes. I think they just opened it for betting now, but that'll do it. Okay, so that's like kind of the early preview for NHL, and I'm pretty sure that everything worked out fine with respect to the testing. Let me just go double check that. Let me just see something. yeah, so it looks like this worked. I want to do one other thing here. I want to put in. What if I paid a $2 super chat? So I think let's see what happens. So a $2 super chat. We'll do it. Actually, I don't have my. So like I said, if you guys ever really want to donate or something like that, I mean, I don't. Maybe we'll donate to charity or something. Let's see. See if it works. So we're gonna see. First super chat. Okay, so I guess that worked. All right, that'll do it. Good luck, everybody.